The solution to the problem of human pain, whether it be physical or whether it be moral, is to go right into it.
Okay.
Pre-gaming.
Everyone welcome our fabulous guest, Lindsay HARROD.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so Lindsay, tell us all about you. Like,
Girl, where do you want me to start?
okay, so tell, if nobody knows, like they don't know your social
know if
media.
you want to, like, know what street I grew up on. You know?
I want to know the time you were born and how long it took your mother
My
to
rising
give birth
sun
to you.
sign is. I'm just kidding.
What is it?
I actually don't know.
I was
that.
psycho.
Do you know yours?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got in trouble. I was just on set last week and literally the director was like, you need to stop asking the extras what their birthdays are.
Stop.
I'm
But you
serious.
have to know what time.
For the rising and moon sign, you do.
Yeah, you have to know what time you were born and what city.
And look,
Could you actually tell me what mine is?
if you know what time? Oh, you do?
8:08 a.m.
And what
Oh,
city?
yeah.
You have to
Las
look
Vegas.
it up. Okay, well, I mean, I'll just start off with what I do, even though that's not
Perfect.
who I am, but it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I'm a fitness instructor here in LA, and I also run my own online business and brand, blog, social media, all the things in one. So basically health, wellness, blogging, all the good stuff. I moved to LA when I was, how old was I? I was 22, 23.
Okay.
And like moved to LA by myself. I didn't know a single person. I moved in with a girl. I like got connected with her through a mutual friend, and we met the day we moved in with one another. Like I just like blind went into it. I was like, I just know I want to get out of San Diego. Like it's too slow down here. I need something to inspire me.
So you're from San Diego?
Yeah, I'm from
nice.
Southern California, but I was going to college down in San Diego.
Okay.
That's where I was living. And one of my girlfriends was like, yeah, I'll move to LA with you. But she was just like not really like taking the leap, and she was taking too long. And I was like, okay, I can't wait around for you anymore. So I just did it. But it ended up working out great. I ended up living with that girl for 4.5 years, and we became great. Yeah, it was like, I got so lucky.
It's never happened.
It never happens.
Never happened.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
I know.
Like not even
I don't think
relationships.
I,
Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I haven't lived with anyone else as long as I've lived with Whitney.
Wow.
It's
crazy.
a trip. I know.
You lucked out. Because I
really did.
And it's so funny. I literally did the same thing. I had one friend who was in Canada and was like, we're going to move together. And like, she just wasn't. So I was like, okay, I got to do it myself.
Yeah.
But I've heard that from so many people. But the only other part is that the roommates are disasters.
Oh, I've heard horror stories.
yeah. So you got really lucky.
I mean, I've definitely had some horror stories in my life. Don't
Right.
get me wrong. Well, we'll leave them out of this conversation.
move here. It's good.
Moved here, and I was just moved up for modeling. I was like kind of commuting from San Diego for castings and stuff, and I was like, it's too far. I just need to get up there. And I thought I wanted to model, or I thought I wanted to do entertainment hosting. I was doing hosting courses when I first moved into LA. And I kind of like was in that rat race for a few years and just never really like gained momentum or felt super fulfilled from it. And also fell down a really bad toxic path of like body image issues. You know, I was in a career where I was constantly being compared to other people, and I always loved fitness, and my fitness journey started way before that, but I was always going to the gym because I was unhappy with what I looked like, and I was trying to look better instead of like going to the gym because I was like a celebration of like my body, and that's totally how I am now. But I was just, and I kind of just like developed like a really negative mindset towards everything. I didn't have the best friends. I didn't surround myself with quality people. I was partying, you know, all the things that you get caught up in LA. And I was just like ultimately just not well. I was not in a good place. And I woke up one day, like I said, feeling super unfulfilled. And I was just like, I know I have so much more to offer the world than modeling. No offense to anybody who is a model for a living. It just wasn't my journey. It just wasn't meant for me. And I didn't feel fulfilled from it. And like I said, I developed a lot of really like toxic thoughts about myself and my body image through that career. And I just knew I had to get away from it. So I decided to leave modeling and pursue a career in fitness and wellness. And I didn't really know what that looked like at the time. I just knew that was where I wanted to go. I just was like really craving a healthy, balanced lifestyle. And it was a very uncomfortable transition because I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know what that meant. I was like, okay, I know this is the career I want to go into, but I don't really know exactly what I want to do. And I really learned that you don't have to have it all figured out. We get so hung up on that.
Oh my God.
You
I
don't
love
have
that.
to like, you don't have to have the end goal to like take the first step.
Just do it.
You just have to literally
Yeah.
just take action and do it. But I also realized that you really cannot like go anywhere in your career until you're right with yourself. Like I had to turn inward and like be willing to get really vulnerable and sit in my own thoughts and like stop searching for like external factors and reasons to like bring me validation. And I had to really spend like probably a solid year of my life just really turning inward and getting right with myself and in my heart and in my mind. And then my body started to change and follow because of that just naturally. And then I started just surrounding myself with better people, and everything kind of started falling into place when I took the time in my life to just like say, fuck having a social life. Like I just need to just turn inward. And I kind of, that sounds kind of cheesy, but like you really cannot go forward in life until you're right with yourself.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. What did you do? Because I just recently did this myself, probably like the last 2 years I've done that. What have you done as far as like when you decided like, okay, well, this life is not enough for me? What did you do to turn inward?
Totally. I mean, I think step one is eliminating toxic things from your life. So it was like toxic friendships, toxic habits, like even if it's something as small as like sleeping in, you know, like I really had to just start cutting everything bad from my life. And that was hard to do. It was hard to cut people out of my life. It was hard to cut habits out of my life. I was modeling. So like I said, I didn't have like a job I had to be awake and out of bed for.
Right.
So it required a lot of self-discipline to just get up in the morning. And you know what it's like being a freelancer. It takes a lot of discipline. It really does.
Yeah.
So I think step one really is to start identifying what is making you unhappy in your life and start eliminating those things and replacing them with better things. I was kind of at a point where I was even like, do I even want to stay in LA?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really happy with the quality of people I'm surrounded by. And I was like kind of ready to bounce. I was like, I don't know where I'm going to go, but like this place is just not working for me.
Yep.
And I kind of just like woke up and had a revelation one morning and I was like, listen, Linds, like leaving LA is not going to solve your problems. If you're unhappy with the quality of people you're surrounded with, then surround yourself with better people, put yourself in different environments. And this is obviously just a personal journey for me. This isn't my advice for everyone, but I just like on a whim signed up for an internship at my church. Literally just like put myself out there. I didn't know anyone else. I didn't even ask a friend if they wanted to do it with me. I didn't want anyone to do it with me. I wanted to do it on my own. I wanted to just be bold. And even if I walked away from it with no friends or anything like that, like it was just personal for me. I was like, I just want to put myself in a kind of an uncomfortable situation and see where it goes. I'm like, cause I was so nervous going into it. I was like, oh my gosh, all these other people like know so much about the Bible. Like, what am I going to say when they're going to ask me a question? Do I have to answer? Like, I don't know. But it was just proving to myself that I could do it.
For sure.
And I totally did surround myself with better people. And I kind of just, through that, you take like one bold action and then you kind of like start to like, it's like peeling back the onion layers, right? You're like, oh, I see a little bit more of my self-worth. Yeah. And then you start to go a little deeper and you start to make bolder choices and you just start to see your self-worth more and more and more. It's like this snowball effect until you're just like, oh, and then I was just like, wow, like I'm fucking awesome. Yeah. Like what was all this self-doubt that I was experiencing before? Like, and it was just insecurity and just, you know, all of those things. And I was just, it totally opened up this new side to myself that I hadn't experienced of myself before. And like I said, when you start the more right you get with yourself, all of the other opportunities and possibilities just start kind of falling into place for you, you know?
That's so true.
I was like not in a place where I was looking to date anyone. I was like gung-ho on being single and having that point in my life. And then of course, like right when that happened was when I met my boyfriend, who I've been with for 3 years now. And we have an extremely healthy relationship, as opposed to all my past relationships were like insanely toxic and horrible.
You and me both.
Girl, that's like another day, another podcast. Like, do you have like a year? Do you have a year to sit down and let me tell you all my horror stories? Because I bet you, we won't even go there. It all just starts with just taking one step. And just focus on one step at a time, you know? Like I said, number one, identify the things in your life that are not propelling you forward, that are not aiding you in a positive way. Read on a Friday night. Like, doesn't make you a loser. So
the thing with LA is I think if you want to feel good here and like survive here, you know, not just survive, like thrive, you have to figure out who you are 100. And it forces you to do that. So I'm noticing like, something similar with me and then guests we've had on here is that everyone's hit a point where they're like, okay, what do I have to do to be happy and like reach my highest potential? Because only then I think in a city that's so competitive and like overwhelming and attracts a lot of different people and toxic people, you have to just know who you are so you can like, you know, carve your own way in that city.
Totally. Well, and people attach it to the wrong things. Like, oh, once I get that job, like then I'll feel fulfilled. Once I'm friends with those people, like then I'll have the right connections. Like once I can like afford to drive this car or this designer bag, like then I'm going to be happy. And it's like, literally, you are so fucking far from finding happiness. Like none of those external things are going to help you figure out who you are.
Yeah, because you're going to keep chasing after. It's going to be one thing after another after another.
Absolutely. You have to just literally be like, if I was just alone for the rest of my life and it was just me, myself, and I, would I,
you know, to better yourself. So I'm the type of person, I'm very extreme. Like I'm like, okay, I'm going to go all out. Like today I'm going to cut out all my friends. I'm going to I'm going to change the world. I'm going to exercise for 9 hours, like blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I need to calm myself down.
I actually do that. I'm just kidding.
No, you literally do.
Does.
You literally does. But like for me, I just think I need to change everything overnight. And a while ago, my therapist was like, hey, instead of going insane and trying to do all of this at once, which is not possible, and then you're going to burn out and do none of it, start by literally one little thing. And the second I was like, okay, I'm going to start doing this, even if it's a big thing for me is I have to make my bed every single morning. If I don't make my bed, and better jobs. And
it's all a process.
It's literally just small things and then you get there.
Yeah. Lindsay and I talk about the micro goal thing. Like we joke
I
about
love that.
it.
I saw that
It's
on
like
your
a joke. It's like we're joking,
but we're not.
actually serious.
I thought that was great on your Instagram.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm just gonna start posting a micro goal like every Monday, goal Monday, and then like tag her. And so like, you know, whatever my biggest goal is, like what am I doing today to work towards that? So.
I love that.
Right, because there's even been times when Alex is like, we confide in each other a lot, and she's like talked to me about like how she's feeling frustrated because she's not at the end goal yet, and I've had to kind of like
for sure
roll her back and be like, okay, like let's break this down a little bit. Like
you're doing good.
Yeah,
you're
like
doing
you're
good.
Like you're doing really great. Like what's like one small thing that you can focus on? Again, the micro goals that are going to get you to those macro end goals.
Yeah, because then you get I do the same thing. I get overwhelmed because I'm like, okay, well, I'm not at this point, but that's my very end goal. And
you also have to set realistic goals. Like, you know something? Like some people are like, okay, like I'm not going to drink for 30 days. Right. Why don't you just say, hey, I'm not going to drink for 1 week?
Yep.
Because then if 2 weeks go by and you're just like cave and you have a glass of wine, then you're like, I'm a failure and you're disappointed in yourself.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, well, fuck it. I already had one drink. Like,
I'm going to have 4.
Who cares? Yeah, exactly. So it's like set realistic goals. This is what I'm constantly trying to tell people when I'm interacting with them on social media. You know, they have these like, I want to lose 20 pounds. And I'm like, okay, how about like your goal this week is to like drink 3 liters of water a day. Like, let's start there, you know? Like, just start building those, like, small habits. We totally get hung up on the end goal.
Yep.
And when we don't see it, we're inherently impatient creatures, you know? When we don't see it happening quick enough, we get discouraged. So you have to kind of be okay with the small goals. Like, sometimes we're like, oh, that's kind of a shitty goal. Like, it's small. But, like, they really do build everything up.
For sure. And you'll feel better about yourself if you're like, oh, I did that.
Absolutely.
And then you keep going rather than like, oh shit, I didn't lose 20 pounds in a week. Like, what am I going to do?
Absolutely. And then you're like, I give up.
Yeah.
It's too hard. I'm never going to be able to lose 20 pounds.
No, I literally do that to myself. So you're right.
Yeah, because then like the end goal seems to become this like huge fantasy.
Yes.
Totally. It's unattainable.
When it's like,
Yes.
you make it unattainable by not doing those
For
little
sure.
micro goals, and then you're like, I'm never going to do anything with my life.
Exactly.
You know?
And then you go down this like whole rabbit hole of self-hate and whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you are a fitness guru.
You can call me a guru.
Fitness guru.
For sure. She's a guru.
But you're also like
what a word.
Would you consider yourself like a speaker too? Like I feel like you have like I feel like I'm like empowerment.
I do. Like, I definitely do have a voice. And I actually recently have been realizing the power of my voice and how much more impactful it is than I realized. I just got back from a fitness retreat in Mexico, and so many of the girls were coming up and pulling me aside throughout the week and just thanking me for my content that I produce and telling me how much they really resonate with everything I say and how much I inspire them and motivate them. And sometimes, and it was like so reassuring because sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm putting all this content out there, I'm putting all this time and work into it, and I don't even know if it's hitting home for anyone. Like, is anyone resonating with this? Am I just like putting words out there and like what's happening, you know? So it was so reassuring to be like, wow, like my voice really does have an impact.
It's great.
And it's actually something I'm wanting to dabble in more. People have been asking me like kind of what's my end game and where do I see myself? And obviously I can't be a fitness instructor forever. I mean, I probably could, but energetically that would be a lot. That would be tough. And I've realized that I do have a passion for using my voice, and I've kind of wanted to maybe go into some public speaking, or whether speaking at women's conferences. I'm really passionate about body positivity and self-confidence and all of those things. And I would love to share that more with people.
Yeah, I love
on a
that.
larger scale.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Sure.
What's your, okay, so you teach classes. What type of classes do you teach?
So I teach all different methods. I'm kind of all over the place.
Okay.
I have a lot of different certifications, but I teach Pilates, whether it's a regular reformer, a mat Pilates, megaformer. I teach HIIT classes, boot camps, strength training, kind of all the things.
So if you need a workout,
Yeah.
you want to lose 20 pounds in a week, hit up Lindsay.
We're going to start with the
I'm
water
just
goal.
kidding.
Yeah.
We'll start with water. And then,
But yeah, and I create like workout videos for my channels.
Nice.
Just kind of share all my knowledge about fitness, wellness, health, mental health, loving yourself. They all go hand in hand.
for sure.
You know?
Okay, so mental health. What we talked about that a little, but has the biggest thing that you've struggled with been the body positivity thing and the body image?
I wouldn't say it's the biggest thing I've struggled with. I think I definitely struggled with, that was definitely a demon in my life at some point, but I think that the body image issues were because of deeper mental health.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a depression. It was, I didn't know what I want. And everyone feels like this, right? At some point in their life, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know what my passion is, what I'm called to, what my purpose is, what I feel fulfilled from. So it was just, and like I said, an overall unhealthy lifestyle, surrounding myself with the wrong people, partying too much, all those things. I definitely had periods in my life where I was extremely depressed, and it's really tough to pull yourself out of that, because you have to kind of like, no one else can pull you out of it. You have to pull yourself out of it.
Yep.
But body positivity was something that I just, once I found the confidence in myself, like I said, once I started seeing my self-worth and the confidence started building, the body confidence just kind of followed naturally. And it became less about what I looked like in the mirror and more about how I felt in my mind and in my heart and how I viewed myself. And I just started to care less about what other people thought about me, because I valued myself.
Right.
So, and that's what so much of, I think, body insecurity comes more from what you think other people view you as than how you actually view your own body. You know, you're like, my thighs are not like thin enough for this guy to like me. Or instead of like, you're like, because for me, I'm like, really, I don't really care what my thighs look like. It's really about impressing other people. So I think you kind of have to let go of that. You have to let go of like holding on to everyone else's opinion of you first, and then it follows.
Totally.
Have you ever had like a specific moment to where you realized like, oh wait, I'm like actually looking at myself different than I used to? Like, was there like ever a specific moment, or was it like over time?
It was over time. I don't think I ever really had a specific moment. I just like kind of in general, like I said, when the quality of my life started improving and my view of myself started improving, like I just felt lighter. Like it was like this like dark cloud that I kind of used to carry around was just going away. And like I said, I started caring less about what other people thought about me or my body. Again, it's like, especially coming from a modeling background, like, you know, like, and I did a lot of fit modeling, and it was like, if I gained a half an inch in my thighs, I was constantly being measured. If I gained a half an inch in my thighs,
I would literally
they're
lose
like,
my
you need to
shit.
stop doing squats at the gym. And I'm like, what? Like, you know, it was, and so I said for so long, it's so bad.
I would
like,
never be able to do that. I can't. I have a
that's what I'm
bunch of
saying.
friends who are models.
I'm like
I
mad
can't.
respect to anyone who can literally be a model for a living because you're a tough bitch.
Yeah.
for sure.
Like, it's really tough.
You never feel worthy. Like,
You
ever.
never do. You're never,
Ever.
it's never good enough. You could always be better. There's always going to be a girl who's younger than you, thinner than you, has clearer
Better
skin than
looking.
you, like
Yes.
has more followers than you, because then when social media started to come into
God.
the game, now it's like, now not only do you have to fucking like have perfect measurements, but you have to have 1,000 fucking million followers as well. Sorry, the F-bombs are flying.
No,
Oh,
it's
you're fine.
Even Hailey Bieber, I don't know if you guys ever
I
saw
did
that
remember-
post.
yes.
That post, she had posted something. It was like her on a cover, and then her in like a sweatshirt. It was like a slide, like a carousel.
Yeah.
So it was basically her just breaking down how she never feels ever, like she doesn't every day feel worthy, or like she feels down about herself. And I'm like, fuck, Hailey Bieber.
Right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
if she
And
doesn't,
it sticks with us, right? Like
Yeah.
she's like, she brought it up like one time, and I'm like, and that's that's stuck with me.
Yeah.
Like, that's stuck. And that's why I'm like, that's another thing I'm really passionate about too, is when I do a lot of events and stuff around LA, and I started just inviting influencers to my events and trying to open up more to the influencers about using their platforms for good, right? Because I'm like, okay, my end goal is to reach more people, but like I'm smart enough to know that I can reach people through other people.
Right.
So if I'm getting in her ear and her ear and her ear, and I'm getting them to slowly start to use their platforms for better because they're reaching people that I'm not reaching, you know, and I just wish people like Hailey Bieber would have the confidence to step into that more and own that, because she probably doesn't realize how impactful that was for so many people.
For sure.
You
For
know?
sure.
So like, I really want to step into a place where influencers are using their platforms for good. It doesn't mean that everyone needs to like hop on and be a body positivity advocate like I am, but just to know that they can use their platforms in better ways.
Oh, for sure. That's huge. Because they have how many people looking at what they're saying, and it's like,
And they look up to them. They
for
don't
sure.
realize it, but they do. They look up to you. They're buying the makeup that you're wearing and the clothes that you're wearing. So if you have a positive message to spread, they're going to listen to it.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so along these lines, what would you say has been the hardest lesson of your career thus far?
My God, there's so many.
If you
of
could
them.
think of, or
The
several.
hardest.
Yeah.
I think I said it was kind of like what I led with. I think the
Okay.
hardest lesson of my career was learning that I had to get right with myself internally before my career could go anywhere. I was going to get no clarity and focus of the direction of my career until I got good mentally and with myself. So you can be like grinding and putting in the hours and the overtime, you know, and thinking that like just because you're working more hours than the person next to you and answering more emails than the person next to you, that you're going to get further ahead than them. But that's just not the case. So and another thing too is like working smarter, not harder.
That's so true.
I definitely have had, and I'm still struggling with this. I definitely have periods in my career, in my life, where I'm burning out all the time, right? I'm just like, go, grinding. And it's been really hard for me to accept and realize that if you're not carving out the time for yourself and your mental well-being, you're going to burn out and your career is going to go nowhere.
Yeah, because like you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people.
Absolutely.
You know, the whole like oxygen mask on the plane.
Yeah, I think like really, yeah, exactly.
seriously,
I
though,
think
that's
really
a good,
considering your
I
well-being,
know I always think about that.
consider your well-being as part of your career.
Totally.
Like,
That's a huge thing.
You really have to.
So what do you do personally to like when you do carve out alone time? What do you do to like recharge and get your energy back?
So obviously I'm obsessed with working out. I love fitness so much. Like I literally could do like 5 workout classes a day and like not even be phased. I just think it's so fun. But again, I didn't always feel that way. And I just think I have such a light and beautiful perspective on fitness now, because like I said, I really am just like so appreciative of my body and what it's capable of. And I'm like, this is so fun. What a celebration of like how able my body is. Also, working out is a freaking luxury that many people do not have.
Yeah.
So I am just like grateful for it. And it just like the endorphins, it makes me feel so good. So obviously working out is a huge, not only like escape, but recharge for me. Baths.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like a really big bath person. And you have to like not bring your phone into the bathroom. I realize that's like a
huge,
really, oh man, I mean, it's a no-no.
I do that too. I make myself leave my phone now.
You gotta leave your phone out. Just honestly carving out time to not be on your phone. I do a social media cleanse 1 day a week.
That's great.
It's usually a Saturday or a Sunday where I'm just like, and honestly, and if you're struggling with it, like delete the app off your phone for the day. Otherwise, because you don't even realize how many times you just open your phone and open the app.
yeah.
It's just such a habit.
Yeah.
So I've actually been doing this where I have where Instagram, I have a schedule with it now. I've just recently been doing this. So it's like a 9 to 5. So I don't look at it.
I like that.
So I'll do things like during the day, whatever, I'll post, but then like have a hard out at like 6.
I love that.
I love that
know?
too. Which
So,
like
but-
not everyone can do that, you know. 'Cause
No,
for
of
me, I work like
course.
some like
Right.
strange hours of the day. So sometimes like the only time of the day for me to like sit down and respond to my DMs and interact with my community is at like 8 o'clock at night when I'm sitting
Right.
at my house. But I do love, even if it's just time blocking. Like
Yeah,
okay,
time
blocking.
I'm gonna
Time
give myself
blocking.
like
For sure.
X amount of hours in the day
Yeah.
to spend on social media.
Because I feel like as soon as like whatever, I'm go during the day, but then as soon as I come home, like I notice like, and my boyfriend's there, I just want to be with him.
Totally.
And like if I'm on my phone and like doing shit, like I know I should be like spending time with him rather than like on my phone. So I feel like I've just kind of like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop at like 6 p.m.
Totally.
So like I'll like story all day long. Like take the video, but then post it.
I'm gonna DM you at 8
later.
p.m. and see if you respond.
Ooh, I'll do the same thing.
So you need a friend to make you accountable for your.
No, I love that. You can ask me. No, I did that with one friend, but we both in a week were just like, shit. I tried to get off because social media made me go crazy. Mainly when I first started
Girl,
dating my
you
boyfriend.
and everyone in the world.
Yeah.
I was like I was literally, and he knows this. I wrote a blog post about it, but I was stalked like every girl who had ever liked his picture. I was like literally going through
Oh my god.
because I'm psychotic.
Well, we've all done.
Listen, yeah.
I have no problem.
Fucking trust.
I'm sure. But one day took Adderall to do work.
Oh my god.
And I ended up
How many
on.
girls did you find?
I literally was on it for like.
And you like ended up on her cousin's page.
It was
or some
for
shit,
sure.
right?
It was
Like-
4 hours. I don't even know what girls it was, and I started. I noticed the clock because my friend called me, and I just started sobbing because I was like, I feel awful. Like not only because I just wasted 4 hours of my fucking day, but because this app has had this much control over like my
Oh my
well-being.
god, you literally feel disgusted. Totally. Well, you also have to be aware about how this app is making you feel.
And
Like,
that, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like we were talking about eliminating things in your life that are not making you feel good. If you're opening the app and it's not invoking creativity and inspiring
Inspiration,
you,
yeah.
like then it's taking away from your life. It's not adding value, and you have to be strong enough to recognize that and be like, okay, this is actually a negative habit in my life. It's something I need to cut down and work on.
I started unfollowing really hot girls.
Oh, actually, I
that's
tell this
all
to
I
people, and I
follow.
tell this to people
That's all I
all the
follow.
time. I said, if someone's, and it's nothing against them.
No,
it's
no,
totally
it's you.
about
Yeah.
you. If you go to their page and you're comparing yourself to them,
Yep.
and they don't make you feel better about yourself, unfollow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If it's not making me feel good about myself,
Yeah.
bye.
Right.
And sometimes sometimes we go through seasons where it could even be like a friend who's experiencing like abundant success, right? And maybe you're just like kind of feeling discouraged in your career and seeing their success. You should feel happy for their success. And if you're not feeling happy for it, maybe you just need to unfollow them for a couple months so that you're not feeling discouraged by it
Or
until
hide.
you get right with yourself, and then you can follow them
But
again.
yeah, exactly. But then it's also reverts back to being in love with yourself,
Absolutely.
being right with yourself. Like I've been doing that the last year with therapy, is just really backtracking through my life to like me as a child. And now like every session I do, I have a breakthrough where I'm like understanding like, wait, like I'm actually not that bad. Like, you know, and you start to fall in love with yourself, and then like little things like that don't really get to you as much. You're like, fuck it, whatever. My tits are great.
And
So,
yeah,
no,
exactly.
Well, and it's like, and it's just like a maturity thing too, you know.
For sure.
It's like the older you get,
Yeah.
but with the therapy thing, like, man, I mean, if I could encourage anyone to go to therapy,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
like, you're, it's gonna change your life.
It's life changing, and we
It's
still
literally
said
change
that.
your life, and like any strong mentor will tell you that.
Yeah.
People are like, what is this like weird stigma against therapy? I can't get past it.
And if it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you at all. Like you're a human being, and it's just bringing more self-awareness to you.
Oh, absolutely.
And everything you're doing.
It's
Absolutely.
understanding your past and things or any kind of trauma that has happened to you, understanding that it's not your fault
Absolutely.
and
Oh,
that you couldn't control it. It was
Ooh, that's a
other
great
people
I like that.
doing this to you, and you're a child. You do not understand
exactly.
this, but
That's
it
the problem.
affects
You're a
you.
child,
And
you don't
now
understand.
you can really look at all the decisions you're making in your life because of this one particular moment
Yep.
that has shaped you. And you're like, dang, there's a fucking light bulb that goes off in your head, and you wouldn't be able to have gotten there unless you went through therapy.
Totally.
I mean, my parents put my sister and I in therapy when we were in high school, we were having a really tough time. And it's just so, I look back now and I'm just like, wow, you guys are hilarious. I love they put us in therapy because we're having like a rough family life. And I'm like, you guys are literally the fucking psychos.
You guys have literally created.
You literally, like,
That's my parents too,
You
with
know what I'm saying?
anxiety.
But
I'm
then-
like, you made me anxious.
so they put my sister and I in therapy, right? And then like the therapist obviously very quickly is realizing that my sister and I are not the crazy ones, not the ones with issues. And they're like, yeah, you're experiencing, well, I mean, I was experiencing physical and emotional abuse like in my home life. So, when she's coming back and she's telling me like, yeah, like you're experiencing all of these issues from your parents, and I'm obviously relaying them to that. And they pulled us out of therapy right away,
yeah.
And then because of that, for a long time, I thought therapy was a bad thing because I'm like, well, my parents pulled me out of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't working for me. It wasn't helping me, which was just like literally confusing me even more. Thanks,
Right.
mom and dad.
Yeah.
But it's also really sad to me that it's taking us until we're adults to go to therapy, right? Like
This is true too.
like
yeah.
you need to be able to recognize like if your 12-year-old needs to go to therapy and like needs to talk to somebody that's not you and like be
Yeah.
okay with that. I think so many parents get defensive.
Yes.
Like, no, my child doesn't need therapy. My child can talk to me if they have a problem. Like we need to like open yeah, right? Like when
Yeah.
you have like that one friend who like actually is like best friends with their mom when they're like in high school and they can tell them everything.
Yes,
And
but
I'm
that's-
like, you're a unicorn,
Right.
literally.
Yeah,
My
you're
mom
not-
doesn't know anything about me.
Right.
My mother actually, because my parents were divorced at a young age, my mother tried to bring me into therapy probably like around the age of 12 or 13, because my mother's household was super normal and my father's was very religious, like, a lot of emotional and physical abuse there as well. And like, my mom saw this, and so she tried to bring me to therapy, but I was like so closed off from my mother that, she was the devil, was
Got it.
basically what I was brainwashed to believe. And so she tried to bring me to therapy, and I'll never forget my first therapy session. I got so pissed at her that she brought me to therapy. Like, how dare you take me here, to talk about things like, but I was so closed off and confused about my emotional state as a kid that, I pushed it away. This is evil.
Well,
This is
it's not even
evil,
that it's
you
evil
know?
too. It's that you don't really know how to talk about what you're
You
feeling
don't.
about. Because
Yeah.
for me, like again, my dad was like physically abusive, emotionally abusive. He was an alcoholic growing up. So obviously like I could not connect with him. I wasn't like afraid of him. I just hated him when I was younger, which is like so sad because my relationship with him now is amazing and he's
great.
a totally different person. But my mom, I would always like, I kind of had resentment towards her as well because I'm like, you're allowing this to happen and you're not doing anything. And so I never was able to really connect or open up to her either. So if you have two parents that you can't talk to or open up to, going to therapy is not going to be easy because you don't know how to talk to somebody.
course,
You don't
of course.
have
Oh
that.
my gosh, I never even like thought about that.
No, that's
Right?
so
And you're
true.
just like,
Yeah.
of course, going to therapy is going to be challenging, even for me. Like, even in my relationship now, I've been with my boyfriend for, like I said, almost 3 years, and I even have a hard time sometimes opening up to him because I'm inherently just like this closed off person, and it's so easy for him to like open up and be vulnerable. And I really struggle with it still, which is so funny because you look at my life and you're like, oh, you put your life on display on social media and all those things. But when it's personal, it's different. But I realized like, I never really knew how to talk to somebody.
That little girl is still inside there. That's
Absolutely.
why.
Totally.
That's why, like that, like I see like different
and I'm like,
habits
and
of
I'm
mine
in
that
my
are-
head, like I keep it all up in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Yep. That's so true.
So like I said, I really do think we should be encouraging people to like be okay with talking about those things at a younger age.
Welcome to therapy for
Yeah,
the right brain.
right? Call in.
And your next guest will be a 12-year-old.
But so another thing too, I will say is because people are like, oh, therapy is super expensive, which yes, I get it. You're in a budget. So I said, I think we said this to our other guest, but I was saying like, even when I didn't go to therapy when I was in high school, I would just write stuff down. So anything that like, if you can't afford it, anything that allows you to either talk to someone, call a friend, write it down, talk into your voice notes. Like I've done all of that. And there's also apps now that, have you seen that? I always see an advertisement for it on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like,
Wait, no, I don't
Yeah, there's
know.
like
Yeah.
apps. There's like therapy apps.
think
Like if you
it's
need
called-
to chat with somebody, or if you,
it's like I forgot the name of it. There's literally apps. There's like a few of them.
Is it Calm? Oh no, wait.
No.
I
That's
think
a
that's the
meditating
no.
one.
Yeah.
But there is one where you can call a therapist or you just type into them. And I think it's free for a certain amount. So it's like, if you are having issues, you can do that. Just saying, other alternatives.
I mean, and obviously whatever your like religious affiliation is, but
Oh,
like
and-
even
yeah.
for me, like prayer is therapeutic. But that was something that I had to like relearn as an adult. Like I said, like when I kind of like reconnected and fell in love with my faith, like just like talking to God even felt difficult and uncomfortable. When it's like, what do I feel uncomfortable for right now? Like it's just me in the room and I'm just talking in my own head. I'm not even talking out loud really.
It's probably the action of like
I've literally
being vulnerable,
totally
and, like, letting
was,
go.
For sure.
It was hard, yeah.
Yeah.
But now it's like second nature to me, and now I'm like, let's talk all the time.
Yeah, it
my
becomes
God, I love
easier.
it.
It's practice. Like you,
It
for
is.
Sure.
It's a muscle you have to practice.
Exactly.
For sure.
But it's funny though, like I knew like for years, like early 20s all the way up until, you know, a few years ago, I'm like, I need to go. Like I definitely need to go. But I think until, you know, just recently I realized I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go, you know? And then I found one right away. I was lucky to find one right away because I know a few people that I've talked to have to like find a good therapist, and I found one right away. And now I'm just like fucking new person.
Well, and like
Yeah.
I was kind of saying earlier, when you start to peel back those onion layers and
Yes.
you take one bold step and you kind of start to see your self-worth, it kind of becomes like, it's kind of like when you go to the gym and you start to see results. It becomes
Yeah,
more
totally.
addicting, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, this is working and I'm looking and I'm feeling better. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to lift heavier weights. And it's the same thing. Like when you're on this like kind of like self-discovery path and you start to find your self-worth, you start to be hungry for it more. Like I want to
So
just keep
hungry.
evolving into being this better version of myself. And you kind of become obsessed with it, but in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but you're just like, and then you just get to the point where you're just like, I will literally put myself in any situation if I think it's going to help me grow.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm
Yeah.
all in.
Yeah.
And you just
totally.
kind of, you let go of the fear of it.
Life begins at the end of the comfort zone.
Ooh. So how do you stay? Okay, so say you're just super burnt out. You're like, and you have a lot of shit to do. How do you keep yourself? Is there something specific you do to keep yourself motivated?
Good question.
Oh God, this is a tough one for me. I do feel like I do find myself more lately. I've been noticing like the burnout.
Okay.
And staying motivated through those times is definitely tough, but you really just have to take a step back. Like I'm like, okay, so the answer is less. Always, always, always the answer is most likely going to be less, whether it's like less social interaction, less Instagram. Like even I've had to just be like, you know what? Sometimes I just need to cut back on teach less classes and like take a financial cut because my well-being is worth it. So I think staying motivated, but in terms of staying motivated, my career comes from a place of service. So
Okay.
like for me, it's like I don't really struggle to stay motivated because people motivate me. Like my career motivates me because it's not about me. And I think that was like the most fulfilling thing from transitioning from modeling into like health coaching and being a fitness instructor is when you kind of make your life about other people, you don't really have to rely on yourself to motivate yourself because other people are motivating
so
you.
true.
And I want to get out of bed for them. So, and I want to get out of bed for me too, obviously. But you know, I think it kind of takes like some of the pressure off of you.
For sure.
So like focus on like, yeah, you know, so it really does.
Making that small switch to how can I make people feel great?
Totally. That little mindset shift into
Yeah.
like trying to like turn it off of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, it's this like weight that comes off
Yep.
of you almost. You know,
Totally.
it feels like a little bit heavy. Like, oh, I have to do this and this and,
And I have to like, I have to be responsible for motivating myself.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be my own biggest motivator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, turn away from like, look at me to like, oh wait, I want to do something for other people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
That's great. This is great. Okay. What do you do? Do you get easily distracted? I feel like you don't. Do you have time to
Lindsay
get
is
distracted?
a powerhouse. She is a superhuman. She does not get distracted like
I
you
feel
and
like
Well, the thing is that like I'm a Virgo, so I'm like very detail oriented.
my boyfriend's a Virgo.
I like thrive in structure,
Yeah.
routine. Like my friends know I'm like so annoying. I'm like, this is what time we're leaving. This is what time we have to be there. So I thrive in structure, my days are kind of so jam packed that I don't really like have much room to be distracted, like much room for error. I don't have really time to get distracted because it's like I have something else I have to be at. So I don't actually really feel like I get distracted that easily.
Okay.
I feel like
hero.
as a creator too, it's a lot harder than somebody who has a 9 to 5. Like I came from, you know, I was a creator, then 9 to 5. Now I'm back in creator mode. It's like as a creator, like if you've ever never had structure and then you have it, it's like, oh shit, like I need to apply that
100%
to my so I'm addicted to my to-do list is my best friend.
Yep.
Because unless I start writing things down in a to-do list, I'm like, wait, like what should I do today? Oh fuck, I have to post this.
Yeah.
And it's like
like
Well,
that.
I think as well too. I mean, like I do thrive in structure and I do have structure, but I'm also a creative as well. It's a major part of my career, and this literally like I am a creative, and due to that, I kind of have like 1,000 tabs open in my brain all of the time. So I wouldn't say I'm like easily distracted, but I do have a hard time sorting through all of those things. And like I'll think of something and I'm like, oh, I want to do this and I want to pursue this project. And then I'll take like one step towards pursuing it. And then I'll think of another thing. And then I'll start to focus my energy onto that project. So I do kind of find myself bouncing all over the place just with my ideas and my thoughts. I need to just like see one thing through at a time.
I do the same thing. So if you could give our viewers one piece of advice that you could have like either somebody gave you or you just want to leave them with out of anything, what would you say?
I think it would be probably what I led this whole conversation with, because I think that was just my greatest life lesson, which was basically to stop searching for like external factors and stop trying to find the answers in outside things. Stop trying to find the answers in your friend group and in your career and in your clothes and all of those things, and just take some time in your life. I think everyone has to carve this time out in their life, and it's going to be a different amount of time for everyone. Take some time to just like turn inward and start asking yourself uncomfortable, vulnerable questions, and be okay with sitting in that and being uncomfortable. You know, like it's not going to be an easy thing, but start to ask yourself really like, what is it in your life that's making you feel unhappy, and start eliminating those things.
That's a good
Like,
one.
really, really just start cutting anything that's toxic for your life, and start turning inward, because I know it sounds so freaking cheesy, but like it really is true. It's already in there. You just gotta,
No, it's
you
true.
literally just gotta unlock it. You gotta just like, and it has a lock on itself for a reason. You literally gotta like get in there. So,
Take some pliers, you know,
rip that
and
shit
a hammer.
yeah, the cutters, the lock cutters.
Yeah.
Like, listen, bitch, I need to unleash you.
Yeah.
But like I'm saying, no matter, and even if you get to a point in your life where you're like stumped or stuck, you know, like be okay with like, I need to reevaluate some things. I do that all of
That's
the time.
true.
I reevaluate all the time. Like, okay, why am I feeling this way? It's back to the why too. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I unhappy in this part of my area of my life?
I like that. The like reevaluating yourself.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Like
Well, you have to
asking why.
constantly be reevaluating. And even like I was saying in the beginning too, where people get hung up on the end goal and they're like, oh, I don't have it all figured out, so it's like hard to take step one. You know, like your goals are going to be constantly changing. And as your career starts to evolve, your goals are going to evolve. So maybe your goals that you had for your career at the beginning of the year, maybe I don't have those goals for my career anymore. You know, you have to kind of be okay with everything changing and constantly be reevaluating things.
Yeah, and I think like in the very beginning of like growing into your career too, you're like, this is what I want to do, but then bigger and better things start to happen
Absolutely.
and unfold, and you're like, oh shit, wait, I can actually do that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like I'm cool. Okay, you know, and so
you
like,
kinda
and then you become a better person than you thought that you could ever become.
You kind of
Boom.
start to, and you also kind of start to realize like it's actually easier to go get what you wanted.
Dude, right?
Yeah.
Thought.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, I'm like kind of like back. I'm like
Yes.
everything I ever tried to get, I got, and it actually wasn't that hard. I just had to just go for it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just go take the first step.
Yeah.
Just do
I just
it.
gave like 19 takeaways, but it's fine.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. She's a fountain of knowledge.
Write
you
it
know.
all down, people. Write it all
We'll
down.
be putting her social media, everything on, and her phone number and social security number on the end of this. So
Yeah.
go follow her.
Take her identity.
Take her
You can put
identity.
my address. They can send Container Store gift cards.
Oh, that's
okay.
good. That's
Or-
good.
Yeah.
you go.
I like
Just
that.
email that to me. That's fine.
Okay. Or email.
We'll put her Venmo down if you guys want
And
to.
if you want to come take one of my classes, if
Oh,
you're
yes.
one of our
Okay, so-
viewers that's in LA.
So
Yes.
tell people how they can take a class, where, etc.
So you can find me on social media. It's just my name, Lindsay HARROD. I post, like I said, tons of workout videos, tips, tricks, health, fitness, hacks, all the things. But if you actually want to come experience me in person, which I suggest because it's a great time.
Yes.
I'm at 4 different studios all over LA. They're all on my
Damn.
Instagram. So yeah, if you're
Which
in
ones
LA,
are they? Just curious.
Yeah, no worries. I teach at Health House.
Okay.
I teach at Carrie's Pilates. I teach at Burn 60, and I teach at Studio B inside Bandier.
Damn.
So yeah,
Okay.
High all over the place.
Wow. Okay, so you got to do that. Go to one of her classes. I need to go to one of your classes.
It's so
fun.
Yeah.
I want to go to Health House.
Yeah,
I love Health House.
Is that at
It's
Melrose?
great.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
the best energy.
I remember.
It's good. It's
Okay.
like the rowing machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
That it's by
It's literally like, I feel like every time the class, it's just like a giant party. You almost
It
like
really
you
is.
kind of forget you're working out because it's just literally so fun.
that's
When
the best.
When does the rooftop open?
Ooh.
We have a hearing on like November 5th.
Oh.
Another
Rooftop.
hearing. Yeah, there's a rooftop. There's gonna be like classes on the rooftop and like a cafe area up there.
Oh,
and-
fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really sick, but it's like in a residential neighborhood. There's getting like approval from the neighbors is kind of a pain.
Wait,
but-
is it the one? Is it across from Joe and the Juice?
Yes.
I know exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. And anyone can go.
Yeah, and your first class is free, so
Amazing. Okay.
Megan loves that.
slide in my DM.
I love that. Slide in her DMs.
Slide in my
I'm
DM,
like, I love
and I'll
free
get you
things.
signed up for a class.
Yeah.
Cool.
Take the first step.
Do it. Take one
Yes.
class and then your life's going to change. It'll just start avalanching.
Yeah.
Is that a term?
I like
Avalanche?
it. I like
Snowballing.
it. I like it.
Snowballing. That's
Take the first step, and everything's just gonna come pouring down on you.
it's going to landslide. Snowball is the word I was looking
dead,
for.
I'm
Whoops. Okay, well, thank you,
you.
Lindsay. This
Thank
has
you
been
guys so much for
amazing.
having me. It was
Of course,
awesome.
this has been genuinely very helpful. I think you should be a speaker for women.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Thanks. That's
This is
very
great.
encouraging. I love
Yeah,
that.
of course. Okay. Well, thank you guys. We'll leave all of her info. Go slide in her DMs, email her, show up at her doorstep,
Yes.
and we will see you next week.
The solution to the problem of human pain, whether it be physical or whether it be moral, is to go right into it.